Hello everyone, it's Lurgs here. Welcome to my channel, and today how to replace the brake light bulb on your Vespa GTS. Right, let's get cracking. If you're going to be working on the Vespa, make sure you've got a lovely cup of tea. This is the Vespa GTS model here, and this one is actually a GTS 300, and there's a link above now about things that I love about my Vespa GTS 300. It's definitely worth checking out that video if you're thinking of buying one second hand. Okay, so I'm just going to put the ignition on, and when you do, the tail light bulb comes on, and if you squeeze either of the front or rear brakes, then the brake light bulb should come on. Let's just zoom in here, and that is the brake light bulb there. Now, to get this out, you're going to need to remove the rear bulb cluster housing, and you're going to need a Torx Allen key or screwdriver, also known as a tamper-proof bit or a star sprocket. Now, if you're lucky enough to have the original GTS toolbox, then you will have the Torx Allen key in here. You can use this to remove that. I'm just going to use my own one for today. And you're going to need a 12 volt 16 watt Capless bulb, and this is a clear bulb. Okay, so just get your Torx Allen key on that nut and turn it anti-clockwise. And there's a link above now about 5 things that I hate about my Vespa GTS 300. Again, it's definitely worth checking that out if you're thinking of buying one second hand. Okay, so the rear bulb cluster housing, what you're doing is you're just pulling that downwards and out towards you. So just give it a wiggle, but don't yank it off because obviously the bulbs are plugged in, so you don't want to damage that wire. Let's just turn it over here. And you've got those 2 brackets there, and they just sit in the holes in the chassis at the top there, and that's what holds it in place. Now what we need to do is to just unplug the connector. You don't actually have to do this if you don't want to, it just makes it slightly easier. So just push that button at the top and then it will just slide out. There we go, then just lay it on a rag on the floor, don't lay it directly on the concrete because you don't want to scratch it all. And there is a link above now about the fuse box location and how to check the fuses on your Vespa GTS. Right, the brake light bulb is the one in the middle, and what you do with this, you don't pull it out, you literally turn it anti-clockwise and then pull it out. As you can see there, it's got a slight groove, just like a normal light bulb that you would have at home. And then to remove the bulb, just pop it out, just pull it out towards you. So it's a capless bulb. And then take your brand new bulb and make sure it's exactly the same. It's a 12 volt 16 watt bulb, and it's a clear bulb that you want. Now to put that back in, you just push it into the housing. Doesn't matter which way round it goes. Just push it all the way in, make sure you've got a good connection. And then to get it back into the bulb cluster housing, just line it up with the grooves, push it in gently, and then turn it clockwise about 15 or 20 degrees. And there we go. And there's a link above now about the battery location and how to check the battery on your Vespa GTS. Right, let's get this bulb cluster housing back on. So the first thing we need to do is just plug the connector back in. This can only go in one way, so you can't get it the wrong way around and damage it. And now what we're doing is we're putting the bulb cluster housing in, but put it in slightly lower and then push it upwards into those holes. So put it in slightly lower and then push it upwards, and you just give it a tap at the bottom. And then that nut should line up at the bottom, and you can just get the nut back in. Now with any nuts, just put them in by hand first because you don't want to damage the thread. Once the thread's caught, you can then use your Torx Allen key just to tighten that up. And there's a link above now about how to put your Vespa on the centre stand. Okay, so we just need to test this out, so just put the ignition on and then squeeze either the front or the back brake. There we go, absolutely fantastic. Nice DIY job. Great stuff. Great stuff. If you found that video useful, please subscribe by pressing this button down here for more how-tos, helpful tips and life hacks. And if you'd like to select any other videos around here, that would be really cool. And be sure to hit that bell notification tab.